But it was something that I think all three of us at the time felt that we really could make a far bigger impact together.
I never thought my life would be that awesome.
I find it much harder to talk about their mental health.
There's a fruit basket in my trailer!
Lots of people who are suffering with, addiction or poor mental health.
Because she said that my UN stuff inspired her.
Meghan and Catherine both have causes they advocate for. However, they have very different ways of doing it. Their communication styles are vastly different, resulting in two completely different images. This video is about the most striking differences. Welcome back to the channel where we get to the bottom of what people are actually saying. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe for more videos, and click the bell for all updates. Let's get this show on the road. The first important difference is how Catherine and Meghan address people, address the audience. Catherine addresses a much wider audience than Meghan. Meghan's completely focused on addressing one group. Not that it works, though. Thus, Catherine's approach is inclusive, a word I'm somewhat hesitant to use in this day and age, while Meghan's approach comes across as forced and exclusive. Let's see how the differences between the two play out in different interviews.
Duchess, we can definitely give you credit for coming up with the idea to work together on the campaign around mental health. How did that come about and why was that important for you?
It's very generous of you to say it was an idea, but actually it was going back right to the beginning when we were looking at the different ways in which we could all work with the foundation.
Right from the get-go, Catherine makes sure to include the other people on stage. The interviewer used the pronoun you, but Catherine changes it to we, underlining the team effort.
And I suppose I'd learnt through sort of meeting some of my patronages that there was sort of all these underlying causes across so many different sectors.
This way, she makes it clear that she didn't come up with this on her own, but through talking to other people.
Mental health just kept on flagging up every time, whether it's with addiction or school support and with vulnerable young children. So, but it was something that I think all three of us at the time felt that we really could make a far bigger impact together on, rather than just one of us acting alone on it.
In general, people like when the issues that celebrities speak of have general application, and that the way they phrase them is relatable. This isn't a standalone occurrence. Catherine has a habit of speaking in a way that appeals to more or less everyone.
Thank you for having me here. Honestly, it's really, really special and great to see you again in person.
No, likewise.
You and I know how passionate you are about mental health, and you've gone on your own journey, haven't you, around discovering
what it is.
Exactly, and how we can support not only ourselves but each other as well.
Well, that's it. I kind of have got into this world in a way that no one really should do. Everyone shies away from it.
Exactly. So everyone cares about you and takes a lot of time over their physical health. I find it much harder to not only talk about their mental health, but actually understand ways in which we can also look after it.
100%. I've been very loved throughout my life, and that's a privilege to be able to say that, but to make it a normality would be nice.
Yeah. And love goes a long way.
Yes.
In line with listening to her patronages, Catherine shows interest in listening to Roman Kemp, emphasizing that she gets her information from other people. While doing this, she's still able to get her points across, and importantly, with as wide an appeal as possible. Even when talking about issues that are mostly relevant to women, she makes it relevant to more or less everyone.
What is the early years? Help. With a wonderful emoji at the end of it. I think people assume that because I'm a parent, that's why I've taken an interest in the early years. I think this really is bigger than that. Right from the early days, meeting lots of people who are suffering with, addiction or poor mental health, and hearing time and time again that their troubles now in adulthood stem right back from early childhood experience.
In conclusion then, Catherine's able to do two crucial things at the same time. Show interest in the people around her, letting them speak, and use the information she gets as a way for her to state her own opinions. This shows empathy, which people, unsurprisingly, appreciate much more than egocentricity and self-promotion. Obviously, this doesn't mean that Catherine's communication style is flawless or can't be improved. No one's flawless, and everybody has something they can improve on. But it does mean that her demeanor is instantly likable to many or most people. With Meghan, things are different. There are so many interviews and speeches to choose from, as you'll see on this channel's playlist. However, in this video, I'll keep it brief. One of the clips I think displays Meghan's greatest challenge, let's call it that, is this one.
Like Emily, who's right here, I only know her through Twitter, and I knew she was coming because I saw it on social media.
Stop it, really?
Yes, and she's going on a trip soon to Costa Rica to do some aid work because she said that my UN stuff inspired her. I wrote you a letter. I brought it.
Okay, that is amazing.
It's so good to finally meet you. It's so great to meet you. I got a big letter from him.
On a surface level, Meghan's supporters could be led to think that this situation is authentic and organic, as people say, and show that Meghan's interested in meeting ordinary people. However, when we look deeper, we realize that the only reason why this lovely scene takes place is because it's all about self-promotion.
To do some aid work because she said that my UN stuff inspired her.
In this regard, it's too obvious that the ordinary person here is merely a piece in Meghan's puzzle. Also, when Meghan speaks, she addresses a much narrower group, which isn't wrong in itself. Sometimes it has its place to address a specific group. However, the way Meghan does it is so vague that it comes across as forced. So in the end, even her attempts to sufficiently address this one group fails, and she doesn't gain anything from her efforts. This point is best illustrated by the following clip where the interviewer's question startles her.
It's well known you've championed the empowerment of women and young girls and promoting their self-worth. How do you hope to continue that work with the Royal Foundation?
Yes, I mean, I think that knowing that I've just been here for 3 months, right? I think what's interesting is I hear a lot of people saying when speaking about girls' empowerment, finding and knowing their worth, or women's empowerment as well, you'll often hear people say, well, you're helping women find their voices. And I fundamentally disagree with that because women don't need to find a voice. They have a voice. They need to feel empowered to use it.
The way Meghan resorts to buzzwords and very unspecific statements show that this is a go-to narrative, and go-to narratives show two things about the speaker. One, that self-promotion matters more to them than engaging in the conversation in the moment, and two, that they aren't self-aware or empathic enough to see how forced and calculating it comes across.
How have we culturally allowed that to be the case? There's nothing wrong with talking about a woman's success or her ambition or her financial prowess. Why is it culturally we are equipping girls and women to think that if you are ambitious, there's something negative about that? Whereas if a boy is described that way, or if a man certainly is described as ambitious, that's an incredibly positive thing.
Here, Meghan continues addressing a narrow group, and on top of that, she sounds angry, which is undesirable in terms of self-branding. No one said it's ever been wrong to talk about ambition. It's something Meghan needs to presuppose in order to have something to act upset about. In contrast, Catherine's way of describing her courses is calm and positive. For more examples of ineffective negative communication, I recommend checking out some of my other videos where I analyze Meghan's many repetitions of a certain UN-related trip, a go-to narrative she uses no matter if it fits in or not. In conversations, we like to have a back and forth. It can be uncomfortable to feel like you have to do all the talking because the other person doesn't say anything. But it can also be uncomfortable when the other person does all the talking, even though you have something you want to say. Conversations in between these two extremes, where awkward pauses don't feel awkward at all, are comfortable. An interview is a conversation first and foremost, or supposed to be a conversation more like it.
But for me, there was so much more that I wanted to share, and I really do have an organic and deep love of travel and of food and also of writing. You know, I love writing these think pieces and op-eds about self-empowerment on the site. I started developing the site on my own and really putting my own personal thumbprint on it. It's my handwriting on the site. The drop of the wine is the eye on the, oh yeah. It's my baby, so I'm very proud of it still after 2 years. It's my baby, so I'm very proud of it still after 2 years. She calls me Nutmeg, but she'll be like, Nutmeg, just leave room for magic. And frankly, the moment that I did that, and even with the TIG, she calls me Nutmeg, but she'll be like,
Meghan shows that she's perfectly fine talking about her meaningful endeavors without any feedback from Jaclyn. This speaks to personality, as not all people would be this comfortable talking about themselves uninterrupted. And to many viewers, this style, which obviously comes naturally to Meghan, will come across as unnecessarily self-centered and without the empathy that someone like Catherine visibly has.
Suits is not what I never thought my life would be that awesome. I never thought that I'd have a show that went for this long. That's crazy. It's like every day I'm like, there's a fruit basket in my trailer. What?
While the potential communication errors Catherine makes are easy to fix, Meghan's communication errors are tied to her personality. This makes her errors much harder or impossible to fix. What do you think is the most important difference between them? Let us know in the comments. See you next time.